Welcome to Solo Travel TV. My name is Yogita Ridgley. I am the CEO and the founder of Traveling with Me, Myself and I. Today I have a beautiful lady who is joining us to share her story to inspire us and empower us. Welcome, Rita. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much, Yogita. I'm very well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to do this interview and share your story. Rita, before we start, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself so the readers know who you are?
Okay, so I'm Rita Barbargallo, the Red Peacock. I live in Sydney and I'm basically an international motivational speaker and entrepreneur, coach, facilitator, and I work with the mindset.
Excellent. Rita, where are you originally from?
Born and bred in Sydney, basically. I was actually not Sydney, a place called Mangrove Mountain on the Central Coast. It's down near Wiseman's Ferry. So I was born and bred on a farm. So I'm a country girl, and then got married and moved to the city.
Excellent. That is exciting. It's the girl leaves the country, but the country never leaves the girl, right?
That's and I couldn't. That's just a perfect analogy of me. Yes.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned you are an international traveler and speaker.
Yeah.
I would love to share your story about your traveling side of your journey. What started you on traveling around the world and doing what you do? What was the inspiration or the reasoning behind it?
I think we had a bit of a cutout there, Yogita. I'm not sure. I didn't get the question.
Okay. I think the internet's a little bit slow, but let's do this again.
Yeah.
With your traveling all around
Yes.
the world and empowering women with your motivational speaking, the
Yes.
traveling side of the story I would like to share. What got you started? What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, I've been traveling around the world for a long, long time. I've been to 72 countries, and I've been to those countries, but I've been to a lot of those countries before I started speaking in public. So I just love traveling. It educates you. There's so much to learn when you travel. So and I think you meet amazing people, and your eyes open to a whole different world when you see and go to a lot of these countries. You learn to survive on a different level. You really understand what poverty means. You really understand what wealthy means. So it's, what you originally think in your head when you don't travel. When you travel, that just opens up so many different levels of or education, basically, and things that we are not aware of because we're not exposed to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. The perception of what is poor, what is rich, perception of how amazing you think you are and how your mindset is, that all change as we start
Yeah.
to travel. And one of the things that you said that really set so home with me is that it educates and we keep on learning, and if we don't learn, we're not going to grow. So that is powerful on its own. So my next question for you, Rita, is obviously 72 countries, so
Yeah.
many places, but this will probably be hard for you to pick one or two. What's one country or one place that you've been to that has literally changed you as a person? Probably, whether it was connection with people or connection with country or connection with food or connection with culture, what is one place that you would say is your place?
Wow, that's a hard one, Yogita.
Yes,
That's a tough
absolutely.
one.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from every place I've traveled, but there were three major places that I've gone to over my time, and they're so different from each other. But those three destinations was where I actually got a whole new insight of what the world really is. So I'll tell you, I can't really pin it down to one because these three places have always been the three places that have stood out for me. One of them was Cambodia.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one was I went to the US to NASA,
Okay.
and the other one was to Antarctica. So they're the three that stood out. So Cambodia, there was so much happening in the 70s, 1970s and 80s that so many people were not aware of with Pol Pot and what happened there. And that's where I see that, you know, your $2 donation to someone on the street is a massive thing, because $2 for us is like half a cup of coffee, but $2 for them is a monthly wage. And you learn how important $2 is there. The other one was when I went to NASA. They're spending millions of dollars every day on things, on science projects, space, scientific. The engineering there is amazing, and I've always had a mechanical mind, so that blows my mind. And then I go over to the Antarctic, and then there's so much nature and earth and places that have never been touched, or you cannot go there. I mean, I've had the honor, the privilege of being able to fly over with an aeroplane and a helicopter. That's my best way of traveling. So, Yogita, wherever I go on a holiday or work, I always take a flight over the destination I'm going to, whether it be a helicopter or little plane or seaplane, or that's a must. I don't care too much about doing all these other amazing activities, but for me, it's about hopping on a little plane or a helicopter and seeing and experiencing the surroundings of that destination.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. The idea of that obviously is you can either see everything from above, which has a total different perception on what's happening in the place you're visiting, the destination you're about to visit, or you can, just like
Yeah,
really just dive into the culture itself and be part of it in it. So everyone travels
yeah,
differently, and you just have to find your way and just enjoy it. Absolutely.
yes,
Now, with all these beautiful stories that we hear about traveling, there's always some downfalls, just like anything in life. What is
yes.
one thing you don't like about traveling?
Oh, I think this will surprise you, Yogita.
Okay.
I don't like travel. The part that I don't like about travel is the actual travel itself, the plane bit. You know, getting on the plane, going through the customs and all that. That's the worst part for me.
Yeah.
I think the actual, because sometimes, I travel. Recently, I went to Colorado. It took me 42 hours to get to where I had to go to specific destination. In Colorado. So the traveling part is the nightmare. But once you're there, it's amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and because we live so far away from the rest of the world, like Australia and New Zealand are the two countries that anywhere you want to travel to, it takes forever. So I
Yes.
understand what you mean, the travel part of it. By the time you get through the customs in your own city, you're over it, so to speak.
Yes.
But it is
Yes.
really the test of the whole thing, that what you're actually going to go see, so to speak, the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what we're really
Yeah.
focusing on. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. A lot of people, they just don't want to leave their own country because of that fact. It's traveling too far. But then again, most of us haven't even seen our own country properly yet. So, it's probably
Yeah.
this time
Yeah.
of the after COVID and everything else, a lot of us are encouraged to have a look at your own country, go places that you haven't been before. So my next question for you, Rita, is what is
Yes.
one of the things that you like to do, where, besides flying in and seeing everything from the above, so to speak, when you get to the destination? What is another thing that you really love to do when you're traveling? When, something to see, something to eat, or
Yeah.
what
Yes.
your favorite thing
Okay.
to do?
Yes. Well, that's a very good question, Nagita. I love that question. Okay. So the two top priorities for me once I reach the destination is I want to go back to the roots of the culture itself,
Yeah.
right? And the highlights of the destination. And the other one is because I'm such a foodie, I like to eat, try all the different things that they have that are traditional dishes, not just your normal dishes, your traditional dishes that you've probably never seen on a menu before. They had, like in one of the places I went to in Banff, they had snake on their menu, and it was done all different sorts of ways. So I thought, well, where am I going to get snake on a menu? So, and it's a very common dish that they have there. So that's just an example. But you know, I'm a little bit squeamish about cockroaches and stuff like that, because, and I don't do those sort of dishes because we've got cockroaches here. I could eat them here if I wanted to, but why would I eat them if we've got all the other pork and lamb and beef and stuff like that? But I'll try anything once. So, but yeah, but I think if I get to the root of that question is probably I like to go into the culture of every destination,
Yeah,
how
absolutely.
they live. Yeah.
Absolutely, I love that. That's one of my favorite things too. I tend to do the cooking classes, the authentic cooking classes where the grandmother, the mother, and
Oh,
the daughter or granddaughter, they're all part of this cooking adventure. And one of the most amazing experience I had was in Italy, trying to learn, like, their cookery is different, their cookware is different, their flour is different, all these amazing things. Same with, when you go to Spain. So everyone does it differently, and I
yeah.
was just so like blown away. This was my very first experience at cooking a total different dish, and also trying it in a home that's like an actual 3-4 generations been cooking that way, instead of
Yes.
going to a restaurant in Italy. I mean, that is, going to restaurants absolutely great as well, but it's very modernized for tourists if you're going to stick to the tourist routes. But if you get out of
Yeah.
that is what one of my things is. So I know what you mean by authentic dishes and authentic experiences and the culture. You want to eat the culture, feel the culture,
Yeah.
be part of the culture. Absolutely.
Well,
And I love eating as well, so I know what you mean.
yes, I love food. I love food. And Yogita, on that note, I still cook because I'm of Italian background, of Italian descent. I still cook like my parents and grandparents cook. I still cook the traditional way. So you and I would be great cooking buddies and traveling buddies by the sounds of it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps the culture alive, because what is happening as we're passing the stories to next generation, people are putting their own little bit in there, and the stories are changing, the culture's changing, and the style of everything is changing. So this is why I love traveling. And when you go to different countries, you find different cultures, and you learn how to appreciate each place as well, which makes it
Yeah.
amazing. And I think I totally agree with you. I think we will make a good traveling buddy, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
cooking.
Yes. Well,
Absolutely.
I always say to my husband, if I got lost in a forest for 30 days, I would survive. I would survive because I know what I can and what I can't eat because I've been brought up in the country. And I don't mean in the country just on a fancy farm. It was in a country like living I did a tough work as a woman in the country working the land is tough. And, I was brought up living and basically living off the land, solely off the land. So those traditional dishes that you see in the in Europe, a lot of those dishes and fruits and vegetables are grown in their backyard, and a lot of them you don't see because they've just gone. There's no tradition that's left here to move forward with those particular. What we call weeds here is it's a spinach over there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So my last question for you, Rita, and
Yeah.
I think this will probably be quite insightful because you have traveled so intensively, is if someone is sitting on the sofa watching this and thinking, I would love to go do a solo travel, but I just can't. I'm too fearful of what might happen. What would you advise
Yeah.
for this person?
Okay. So, because I've faced death square and fair in the eye, you know what? Tomorrow is never promised for anyone. So, if you have a dream and you can fulfill it to go somewhere, you really need to put it into action. Once you put it into action or put it in just plant that little seed in your head that you are going to go to wherever it may be, and then go and see a travel agent if you can't do it yourself. Put it into action, because the regrets of not doing something that we could have done, I should have done this or I should have done that, and that this time in our life with all these things happening around the world is a time where, for a lot of people out there watching, when everything got shut down and we couldn't fly anywhere. I mean, I had 17 flights booked for the next 3 months. So all of them got cancelled because of COVID. But however, I'm a traveller, so that didn't worry me. But there was a lot of my friends that have never been away and have never taken a holiday with their family that had booked a trip and it got cancelled because of COVID. And the first thing they said to me was, oh, we were going to go last year. We should have gone last year because now we can't go. Don't have that regret. So just do it. If you want to, if you have the dream of traveling somewhere, don't be afraid. Take it one step at a time and just do it. There's the gunners and there's the doers of the world. But if you're a gunner and you're a doer, that's the magic ingredient to a good lifestyle. You're going to do it, and you're just going to do it. So take the step and just go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Awesome advice. As we all know, fear is only a state of mind. So, like Rita said, and I totally agree, if you're not comfortable on your own, I myself actually do help people plan their itineraries and give them all the advice they need. I have lots of blogs on how to travel safe on my website. So don't just sit there. I would really encourage you to reach out and take that step. And like Rita said, take that action and don't live in regrets. So thank you so much, Rita. I really, really am just blown away how intensively you have traveled. I knew you are a traveler, but 72 countries, wow. And thank you for sharing
Yes.
your story with us and your insights on traveling. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you guys
Thank you.
for watching, and subscribe to this channel, share this love. This channel is all about empowering, educating, and inspiring women to get out of their comfort zone for good mental health. And there's nothing better for good mental health than traveling solo. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Yogita. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate you and also your time. You're an amazing lady, and I hope that everyone comes on board with what you're doing. It's just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you. Bye for now.